Every day is a test of your character, friends. Every single day is a test. Not sometimes, not only when you face some huge problem, not only when life decides to throw something serious at you. Every day is a test of your character. And the interesting thing is that you may not even realize when you are taking that test, because a test of character isn't always some massive challenge. Sometimes it's very small things. You wake up in the morning and you don't want to get out of bed. You know what you need to do today, but you pick up your phone instead. You understand that you need to start taking care of your body, but you find an excuse. You set a goal, but today you don't feel like moving toward it. You started something, but there is no result. A week has passed, no result. A month has passed, barely any result. Sales are moving slowly, views are coming slowly, clients aren't coming, the project isn't growing as quickly as you expected, and right here, the real test begins, because when everything is going well, it's very easy to be disciplined. When money is coming in, when people praise you, when you are seeing progress, when you can clearly see the result, of course you are going to keep going. But what happens when there is no result? That's when you find out who you really are. And that's why here at 4Men Mastery, we keep coming back to one simple idea. It's not enough to want a different life. You have to become the man who is capable of building that life. And you don't build it with one great action. You build it with actions, day after day, step by step, when you feel like it, when you don't, when things work, when they don't, when people support you, and when nobody believes you are going to make it. Friends, every day you can be tested from different directions. The first one is external circumstances, family, work, money, people, conflicts, problems that seem to appear exactly when you least want to deal with them. You wake up in the morning with a clear plan. You want to train, you want to work, you want to complete several important tasks, you want to move your project forward, and then something happens. Someone calls you. A problem appears. You have to deal with something. Someone needs your attention, and your beautiful plan starts falling apart. There it is, the test, and the question isn't whether you manage to have a perfect day. Perfect days don't exist. The question is, were you able to return to your direction after all of that? Because a grown man understands one thing. Life is never going to be completely convenient. There will always be something. Always. There will never be a period when everything is finally perfect. Your family doesn't bother you. Work isn't stressful. Money comes easily. Your health is great. Your mood is perfect. Everyone supports you, and now you can finally start building your life. That moment may never come. So you have to learn how to keep moving, even when life is chaotic. You have problems, you solve them. You are tired, you recover. Something went wrong, you adjust the plan, but you don't abandon the direction. That's what matters. The perfection of your day doesn't determine your result. Your ability to return to your path determines your result. But sometimes nobody is testing you from the outside. There are no problems, no conflicts, nobody is getting in your way. It's simply something inside you saying, I don't want to, tomorrow, I'll rest a little first, I'll just check my phone, skipping today won't matter. And sometimes that's far more dangerous than any external problem, because with an external problem, at least you know what you are fighting. Here, your own brain is fighting against you. You know what needs to be done, but you don't feel like doing it. And the negotiation begins. Today is fine. I am tired. It doesn't really matter. I'll start on Monday. I just need to rest first. And you can come up with a very convincing explanation. So convincing that you actually believe it yourself. But the result remains the same. You didn't take the action. And tomorrow, you'll have to take the same test again. That's why character isn't the ability to always be motivated. Character is the ability to act when motivation isn't there. Remember that. You don't have to want to do every single thing that moves you toward your goal. You have to learn how to do it regardless of how you feel. Because feelings change, your mood changes, your energy changes, circumstances change, but your direction should remain. There is another important point we need to talk about. Today, people are surrounded by an enormous amount of instant pleasure, phones, social media, endless short videos, games, entertainment algorithms constantly giving you something new, and of course, sexual content and pornography for those who choose to consume it. But the problem isn't about making one particular thing your enemy. The problem is much bigger. You are constantly being trained to choose instant pleasure over long-term results. You want to watch one more video, 5 more minutes, one more clip, one more episode, one more scroll through social media, and then an hour is gone, and you ask yourself, where did all that time go? That's another test. Are you choosing what gives you pleasure right now? Or are you choosing what moves you closer to the man you want to become? Because your life is ultimately built from these small choices, not one massive decision, thousands of small decisions. Today, you chose the workout instead of lying around. Today, you chose work instead of endless scrolling. Today, you chose sleep instead of another late night of entertainment. Today, you chose development instead of spending hours consuming someone else's life. Today, you chose real communication instead of constantly living in a virtual world, and every one of those choices is a vote for your future version. But here is another very serious test: your dream. Yes, sometimes you are not tested by a problem, you are tested by the very thing you want. You set a big goal. You want your own business. You want a certain income. You want a strong body. You want a relationship. You want to move somewhere else. You want to build a project. You want an audience. You want to become a man you can respect, and you start moving. Day 1, energy. Day 2, energy. 3 weeks later, it's already harder. A month passes, and you look at the result. There isn't much. Sales are slow, views are slow, subscribers are growing slowly, clients aren't coming. Your body is changing slowly. Your skills are developing slowly. Your money is growing slowly. And you start thinking, maybe this doesn't even work. That's where one of the most important tests begins. Are you willing to keep moving without immediate results? Because many people are willing to work for a result. Very few are willing to work when the result isn't visible yet. And there is a huge difference between those two things. When the result has already appeared, continuing is easy. When you've received nothing yet, that's where character is required. Imagine someone who trains every day. They don't become a completely different person after one workout. They go to the gym, they do the work, they leave. The next day, they come back. And from the outside, it may look like nothing is happening. But something is happening. The result is simply cumulative. The same thing happens with business. The same thing happens with skills. The same thing happens with content. The same thing happens with money. The same thing happens with character. Every day, you add another action, another set, another client, another video, another hour of work, another page, another workout, another day of discipline. And at some point, all those actions begin to stack up. This is extremely important. Sometimes you feel like nothing is happening. But the absence of a big result right now doesn't mean there is no movement. You don't see the foundation being built. You don't see every tiny percentage of progress. You don't see your level. But if your actions are correct and you keep stacking them, eventually the result becomes visible. That's why your job isn't to ask every single day, where is the result? Your job is to ask, did I do what I was supposed to do today? That's a different question, and it's much more powerful, because the result isn't always under your direct control. You don't control how many people buy your product today. You don't control how many people watch your video. You don't control how other people react. You don't control how fast the market moves. You don't control everything that happens around you. But you control your action. You can make the video. You can make the call. You can send the offer. You can study the material. You can complete the task. You can go to bed on time. You can put your phone away. That's what is inside your zone of responsibility. And when you do what you are supposed to do every day, you become an incredibly consistent person. And consistency is an enormous strength. Now imagine this. You face one difficulty. You keep going. Then another one. You keep going. Another one. You keep going. After some time, you start to realize it's not as scary anymore. Why? Because you've accumulated evidence. You've proven to yourself that you can continue. That's character, not words, not an image, not what you tell other people, but what you do when nobody is watching, when there is no applause, when there is no result, when there is no motivation, when nobody tells you, good job. That's when you discover who you really are. And every difficult day becomes a brick. You are building yourself, day by day, test by test, problem by problem. You don't become stronger because life gets easier. You become stronger because you learn how to handle what used to break you. Friends, The days that test you are exactly the days that build you, not the days when everything is perfect, not the days when you wake up energized, finish 10 tasks, crush your workout, and get good news in the evening. Of course, those days are great, but they don't show you the full depth of your character. The day when you are tired, when something happened, when there is no result, when your mood is terrible, when you want to postpone everything, and you still do what you are supposed to do. That day builds you. Because you are sending yourself a message, I can rely on myself. And that may be one of the most important things a man can build in his life. Not depending on his mood, not waiting for the perfect moment, not waiting for someone to come and save the situation. You know what needs to be done, and you do it. Imagine you've set a goal for the end of the year. Let's say you told yourself by the 31st of December, I need to be in a completely different place. It doesn't matter exactly what that means for you. A different income, a different body, a different level of business, a different skill, a different level of discipline, a different life. You've chosen the destination. Now every day between today and the 31st of December asks you one question. Do you really want this? And you don't answer with words, you answer with actions. Because if you say, I want this, but every day you do the opposite, your actions are telling the truth. If you say, I want to change my life, but you keep doing exactly what you've done for the last 5 years, nothing will change. If you say, I want to build a business, but you stop every time you experience your first failure, you are not ready for that business yet. If you say, I want a strong body, but you constantly choose comfort over discipline, your body will show it. If you say, I want a different level of life, but you are not willing to become a different level man, life will show you that too. This isn't punishment, it's simply cause and effect. And here I want to make an important clarification. This doesn't mean you have to be a machine. You don't have to work at maximum capacity every day. You don't have to never make mistakes. You don't have to never rest. You don't have to give 100% every single day, because that can become another trap. You miss one workout, I am weak. You did nothing for one day, I failed. You broke your routine, here is no point anymore. Number one bad day doesn't define you. What defines you is what you do after it. You slipped, come back. You missed a day, continue. You made a mistake, fix it. You lost momentum, build it again. That's the mature approach, not perfection, returning. So, friends, I want you to remember one simple picture. Imagine a staircase, one step, then another, then another. No individual step looks impressive, but those steps together create the entire staircase. Your life works the same way. Today you take one action. Tomorrow, another. The day after that, another. Sometimes you'll take 2, sometimes 5. Sometimes you'll have to take a step backward, but then you move forward again. And gradually, the actions begin stacking on top of one another. Workout on top of workout. Workday on top of workday, sale on top of sale, skill on top of skill. One day of discipline on top of another day of discipline. And after some time, you look back and realize, shit, I am not where I used to be anymore. But to get there, you have to pass through the place where most people stop. The place without results, the place where it's boring, the place where nobody applauds, the place where you simply have to do the work. And that's why, friends, I keep coming back to the beginning. Every day is a test of your character. Sometimes your family tests you, sometimes work, sometimes money, sometimes people, sometimes your own mood, sometimes laziness, sometimes fear, sometimes the temptation to choose easy pleasure, sometimes the absence of results, sometimes your own dream. You set a big goal, and that goal starts testing you. How badly are you really willing to go after it? How willing are you to work without guarantees? How willing are you to continue when it's slow? When there are no sales, when there are no views, when there is no result, when nobody notices? That's the real question, not, do I want this? But, am I willing to keep going? Because when you understand in advance that every day is going to be a test, you start looking at difficulties differently. A problem appeared? Good. A test. No motivation? Good. A test. Things are moving slowly? Good. A test. No sales? A test. No views? A test. Someone doesn't believe in you? A test. You started doubting yourself? Another test. You simply have to pass today's test. Just today. Don't try to live the entire next year right now. Don't think, how am I going to survive another 6 months? Today. What do you need to do today? Do it. Tomorrow, there will be another test. You'll pass that one too, then the next, and here is where something interesting happens. Right now, you are in one place. By the 31st of December, you'll be somewhere else. The only question is, where? Because the 31st of December is coming anyway, whether you worked or not, whether you trained or not, whether you created or not, whether you studied or not, whether you moved forward or not. Time will pass regardless, and when the 31st of December arrives, you'll look back. And you won't see one massive decision. You'll see hundreds of small decisions. This decision, then another. Then the day when you wanted to quit but didn't. Then the day when nothing worked but you continued. Then the day when nobody supported you, but you did the work anyway. Then the day when you chose discipline. Then another one. And those days will become your result. The 31st of December won't create your new life. It will simply show you the consequences of what you did before it. Friends, don't look for the perfect day. It doesn't exist. Don't wait for the perfect mood. It won't arrive on schedule. Don't wait for the moment when everything becomes easy. Maybe it never will. Become stronger. That's what is within your control. When it's hard, keep going. When it's slow, keep going. When you are afraid, keep moving intelligently, but keep moving. When there is no result, keep going if the direction you've chosen is truly yours. When you slip, come back. When you lose momentum, build it again. You don't have to win your entire life today. You just have to win today, and tomorrow, win the next day. And gradually, you'll discover that your life has changed, not because some miracle suddenly happened, but because you stopped losing the same test over and over again. So friends, remember this. Every day is a test of your discipline, a test of your character, a test of your ability to keep going, a test of your ability to follow the plan, a test of your ability to act without immediate results. And every time you pass that test, you build yourself, not with words, with actions, day by day, step by step, one action on top of another. And one day you'll find yourself where you once only wanted to be. But that day won't appear out of nowhere. It will be built by today, and tomorrow, and the day after that. And by every day when things were difficult, but you kept going. The 31st of December is coming. And the question isn't whether it will arrive. It will. The question is who will you be by then? So today is your test. Tomorrow is another test. Pass today's. Keep your pace. Don't stop just because the result isn't immediate. Keep stacking actions on top of actions, and remember, the days that test you are the days that build you. This is 4Men Mastery. Keep the pace of your strongest day. Let's go.